Hi everyone, it's Stephanie here, and today I have another card featuring some products from Winnie and Walter. This week I am going to be using the So Tweet stamp set, a really fun stamp set that has a ton of great bird images and hearts and sentiments and all kinds of great things that go together. And I thought this would be perfect for Valentine's Day, which is going to be here before you know it. So I wanted to create kind of a simple card. I kept the stamping pretty simple, but I did do some watercoloring to kind of give it an artsy kind of painted look. So what I'm doing first is I'm just kind of figuring out where I want to position my stamps. So I have a 4¼ by 5½ inch piece of watercolor paper here, and I'm just positioning my sentiment in the top middle area, and I decided to add two of the birds from the stamp set directly underneath the sentiment. You'll see here when I stamp the sentiment that there is a little heart at the bottom of it. And it works perfectly to have these two birds because they are mirror images of each other. So I'm able to stamp one on each side of the heart. And it kind of looks like when I'm finished that it was just one big stamp that I ended up stamping instead of kind of piecing a few stamps together. Now for the stamping, I am using black onyx VersaFine ink, and that's just because this is a really nice crisp ink and it shows up really nice in the watercolor paper, and it is a permanent ink. So when I do the watercoloring, I'm not going to have any issues of the ink bleeding or any problems at all when I start to add water and the paint colors. So now I have the images stamped. I am going to just take my paintbrush. I am using a round zero paintbrush, and I'm using my Kuretake Gambi watercolors. And I'm just going ahead and adding some color first to the birds' bellies. I already did the little heart there. And I'm taking a really deep, like mustard yellow color, and I'm really putting saturated color at the base of their tummies. And then I'm just kind of bringing that up towards their face, and I'm just kind of letting the water thin that out a bit and kind of make it a little bit lighter up near the top. And then for the body or the wing part of the birds and their tails, I am using this really deep blue color. I love this color. It's so nice because you can really make it dark if you want it like really saturated and pigmented. But if you water it down, it really thins it out and makes it a really beautiful light blue color. So I just love the different variations of blue that you can get with just this one color. So I started off with the darkest color on their tails, and then I kind of let it go up towards their heads and got lighter as I went. And then I took some additional color and added it to the little feather parts on their wings, and then a little bit more on their tail. Now I did let these completely dry before I added more color, so this part here is actually the second coat of color, and I had already let the birds dry in between there. So now I'm happy with the birds, and I have the heart a little bit darker. I did add some more red color to that. So now I want to do a little bit of a watercolor heart in the background. So I have this really pretty mint color, and I really watered it down. I didn't want it to be super pigmented. I wanted it really light at first. And I kind of started off small. I didn't go as big as I end up because I figure I can always add color, but it's a lot harder to take it away. So once I had the heart in the shape that I liked and the size that I liked, I took the color that I was using and let it get really saturated and put a lot of the color heavy on the outside of the heart and then kind of let it go lighter on the inside. So where the sentiment is and where the two birds meet each other at the heart, I wanted it lighter, almost kind of like a glow in the center of the heart. And then I wanted it really dark on the outside. So once I had it done there, I just kind of went around the whole outside and really added a lot more color, just making sure to really saturate that. And then I let this completely air dry. I didn't use a heat gun. I just let it sit and air dry, and I just waited and came back to the card once it was done. Now to adhere it to my card base, which is a gray card base, I am using some Be Creative tape. This is some really strong adhesive tape, and I am completely covering this background. And that's just because this is watercolor and it is a little bit warped from all the water and the color that we put down on it. And I want it to lie flat on the card base. So this just really helps if you really cover the whole background and use a nice strong adhesive. It helps to really adhere that down onto the card base. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove all the pieces off the backing there for the adhesive strips, and then I'm just going to apply this directly to my card. I did trim it down slightly. I took 1/4 inch off of it completely around so that I have a nice little gray border around the outside edge. And then to add a little bit of dimension to the card, just because it is completely flat in one layer, I added some clear sequins scattered around the heart with some silver sickles in the center. And then I'm going to take a black gel pen and just add a little bit of detail to the bird's eyes. I find when you do watercolor, sometimes it kind of sits over top of your stamped ink and it really dulls the black. So I find using the gel pen really makes those eyes stand out. And then that's going to complete our card, and we have this really cute watercolor Valentine's card. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.